How's it going, everybody? Captain Adam here, and it's time for another Thrift Store adventure. Why don't you come along with me? Come on, it'll be fun. Let's go. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another installment of Thrift Store Adventures with me, the Captain Adam. Here we are. As you can see, the store is rather empty, people-wise, and some of you have asked me before how I managed to do these videos without really videoing anybody else. It seems like the stores are always empty when I go to them. Well, I prefer to engage with people as little as possible, so I always go early in the week, either Monday or Tuesday, and I go pretty much as soon as the store opens, so there is generally never anybody here. Plus, I don't like filming other people without their consent. I kind of want to be respectful, so I'm here to film my thrift store adventure, not other people's thrift store adventures. So let's get started here, and let's head to the physical media section, and let's see what we have today. Oh my goodness, it's a sight I have not seen at this store in a very long time. Not those, the VHS. Here we go. This store never has VHS anymore, but today they have just a handful, and it looks like some pretty decent stuff. What is this? This is a gem right here. How to score more points on Nintendo games. I had this when I was a very little kid. Look at that tape, a Kodak. Some slight mold, but nothing I can't clean with a good spin through. Not too bad. That's manageable. Nice Kodak tape there. That's interesting. This is good stuff, man. I cannot believe I found this here. Wow, this is in 1989. Seth Gordon Productions, I think it said. Oh, whatever. What's that? Bruce Springsteen DVD. And Howard the Duck. This is a relatively sought after VHS. But this is not the first edition. This is a 93. But still, it's still pretty good. Everybody wants Howard the Duck. But let me see here. Let's pause this for a second. My keen VHS collector senses are tingling a little bit here because there's a couple questions. Why is a tape like this still here when it is sort of a sought after tape? Usually when VHS are here at this store, doesn't matter what it is, people scoop them up immediately like vultures on carrion. And so this tape still being here really makes me suspicious. And, I have a feeling this is absolutely coated in mold as if it were some kind of panko breading. But let's see if this theory is correct. Let's start the tape up again. Let's go. Let's see. Let's slip this bad boy off. See what we got. Yep. That is a petri dish of awful. This, gonna leave that here, and I'm going to notify the staff as you do have moldy merchandise. So that's a shame. I had a feeling, and that reminds me to remind you, and you probably already know this, but always check the tapes, no matter if it's a VHS tape, a beta, or even an audio cassette, because mold loves magnetic tape. So always check tapes, no matter what they are. Trust me, it's worth it. Well, you should check every media anyway to make sure that the proper tape or DVD or CD is in the said case that it's supposed to be in, because sometimes, mistakes happen. But let's move on here. We also got a Bob Ross 3-hour workshop tape. This is very interesting. A nice little clamshell there. This is pretty good. Please don't be moldy, for goodness sakes. No, looks good. Looks pretty clean. Definitely a big Bob Ross fan. I mean, who isn't? I've never painted anything that he shows me. I just like to watch him. In fact, I don't think I've ever made it through a complete episode, because the guy just really puts me at such a sense of ease and calm that I just sort of doze off. It's tremendous. And yes, the father of what is called unintentional ASMR is Bob Ross, and I'm certainly picking this tape up. Now, if you've seen this show before, then you know I'm a big fan of complaining about the prices at this thrift store, and I'm going to do a little bit of it right now. The prices on the tapes here are a little outrageous for thrifting. Now this says, let's see here, you can see $2. $2 is like their standard price anymore on tapes, which is just very, very outlandish. I mean, I remember years and years ago when many thrift stores had tons of VHS. They were all just either a quarter each or 50 cents each. Very reasonable that one is, which made it more fun to collect just silly VHS tapes. But this tab $2 on a VHS tape, no thank you. I think that's a little much, but I am going to get these because they're so special. Now, the good part about that is the price is universal, so no matter how cool the tape is, it's still going to be $2 because really, I mean, that Nintendo tape really, it could have been like $7 or $10 at like a flea market because it's just so rare. And of course, it's a cross market thing with video games and all this. But still, $2, just not a good price because also when they do have VHS here seldomly, it's always something like just dumb, like Twister or Titanic, and like $2 on a copy of Twister. Yeah, no thanks. But today, definitely a special day. Found some pretty cool tapes. Still, the price is a little high, but let's move on. Let's move on down to their vinyl selection, which is usually pretty humdrum. That's pretty good. We have a Charlie Pride, a Glenn Miller. No, that's decent. A Partridge Family Christmas, interesting. That Anthony Newley thing is still here. My Fair Lady, Red Pride. It's just kind of, here's interesting. The Rocky soundtrack on vinyl, but for $6. What are you, crazy? This is a thrift store. Normally their vinyl is either $1 or $2, but obviously they're nitpicky here with what it is, and I hate it when they do that. All this stuff is like $2, but it's like stuff you wouldn't want. $2, it's just like, I don't know, guys, come on. Jesus, piece. This is pretty cool, but no, the $6 at a thrift store, no, that's just too much. Once again, they're assessing value, which is what they do on some things, and that's just not what a thrift store should do, in my opinion. It's just a weird business model, that's all. It's not an auction house, it's not a flea market, it's a thrift store. So I'm getting mad. Let's move on. Let's go to one of my favorite sections, the t-shirts. Let's see what they have today. Also, this is very susceptible to that's not a shirt, that's pants. Anyways, the t-shirts are very susceptible to outrageous pricing here. There's a cool Jaws shirt. Let me guess, it's $7. Yep, $7. Too much for a used shirt, but since it's Jaws or anything pop culture related, they will slap $7 on that bad boy and expect somebody to buy it. The sad part is somebody probably will. Not a lot of cool stuff in here today. Sometimes it's like that. You don't find a lot of cool stuff. A lot of just middle of the road stuff, blank shirts, stuff like that. And all the lame stuff is priced rather cheaply at $3, which is reasonable for a used t-shirt. But yeah, they always do that thing where if it's like something pop culture related, they'll say, oh yeah, we need to raise the price on that. They don't do that all the time. They never used to do that. It used to be just $3 around the board, $3 or $5. But they've been doing this thing recently where they will put a high price tag on it if it's like something pop culture related. Again, they're assessing value to stuff, and they should not do that. It should be a universal price depending on what kind of merchandise it is, not what the merchandise is of. But sometimes they'll still get like a pop culture shirt and they'll still keep $3 on it. So sometimes they do it, but lately they've been doing this $7, $8 thing a lot for cool shirts, which makes it a little lame, and certainly not fun to thrift anymore. So let's see what else they got. Well, it appears to be nothing. There is really nothing very interesting here today, but that happens sometimes. It's all luck of the draw. A lot of blank shirts, a lot of sports ball shirts, blank shirt, blank shirt, blank shirt, blank shirt. Gee whiz, if you're looking for just a plain blank shirt, this is the place for you. It's I don't know what that is. Blank shirt, polo shirt, blank shirt. Oh, there's a Transformer shirt. Let me guess. It's $8, right? Or is it $7? Let me see. What is it? Yep, $7. I could have guessed. From a mile away, I could have guessed. If it's pop culture related, it's going to be $7. And sometimes I actually put $10 on the shirts, which is completely outrageous. But anyway, yeah, just a bunch of... not too much in here today, shirt-wise, I got to tell you. But that's all right. I don't have that much money on me anyway, so it's kind of a blessing in disguise. I'm not finding anything I absolutely want. Star Wars shirts, of course the Star Wars shirt's probably $7. I guarantee you it's $7. Not even gonna look. I already know it's $7, and I just not interested anyway. Let's see, just white shirt. Oh, here we go. Here's something interesting. A Freddie Mercury shirt. From the band Queen. You might have heard of them. Hey, that's pretty reasonable. $5. See, that's more like a Goodwill. So that's pretty nice. Let's see, just sports ball stuff. It's a pretty cool looking Star Wars shirt, but yep, $7. See, told you. That's how it is with their Star Wars stuff. Steelers stuff, blank shirts, more Star Wars shirts. Another Star Wars shirt, blank shirt, don't know what that is. Yeah, that's a tie-dye Star Wars shirt. $5. I'm very surprised it's not $7. Let's see, gray shirts, blank shirts. Yeah, boring stuff here today. Not too interesting, shirt-wise. There's a cool Def Leppard shirt. It's an interesting, nice maroon color. Let me see. Oh, $5. Again, I'm pretty surprised. I'm surprised it's not $8. So yeah, let's move on. Here's the loose toy section, or as I like to call it, gee, I hope I don't get scabies section. And I remind everybody to please use hand sanitizer whilst thrifting. And there is a little tiny basketball hoop with a Darth Vader figure. That's pretty cute. Darth Vader going for a layup there. I hope he makes the shot. That's good. What is that? $5 for that figure? Yeah, it's not surprising whatsoever. Let's see here. Not a bad looking figure though. Here we go. Dark Side Dunk. Boom shakalaka. Having some fun here today, folks. And I usually find big Star Wars figures here. But, today not much going on here in the old loose toy section. Usually this place is very overloaded with crap. Not today though. There's a big Thor figure. That's about it. So, yeah. Let's take a look into the abyss, the center of the store display, where there's a bunch of furniture and just big stuff. And oh my God, that toilet is still here from last time. My heavens. Oh boy, I'm scared again. Let's get out of here. Here's the holiday section. Not much going on today in this section either. Usually you can find some pretty cool vintage Christmas stuff like this right here, the Noel drummer candle holder. I'll get back to that in a minute. There's a box of old Christmas cards. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, not too much happening here today. Like I said, I do sometimes find some pretty cool vintage Christmas stuff, and very seldom vintage Halloween stuff, but not so much today. There's some spooky stuff up there, but nothing really of interest. That's pretty cool. Let's go back to that little candle holder. This is pretty neat. Still in the box. Let's see what year. 1980. So that's definitely vintage there. Still in the box. A nice little find. Not very interested in it though. $4, not a bad price. Let's move on. Here's the bric-a-brac and knick-knack section. Again, not really much going on in this section either. This is kind of a lame day, I'm afraid, but that happens sometimes. I don't really find anything that cool in this section anyway, but usually it's a lot more packed than this. I've still got plenty of creepy dolls to go around, like this one. Release me! Okay, well, there you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to leave that creepy doll right there, but there's plenty of other creepy dolls. Like this one's rather interesting. Looks pretty old, still in the box. The box says Popeye Porcelain Decorative. So this is obviously not American, but that's fine. Still pretty cool. I'm not a doll collector, but this stuff's pretty neat. Here's the, I still don't know what to call this, shelving unit wall hanging section. And it seems pretty ransacked. Again, this store's pretty empty today, so I guess they haven't got a shipment in. That's pretty neat. A little castle there. That's pretty neat. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Just not much going on. Look at that thing. That's a weird little cookie jar. Sometimes you can find neat stuff in here. Other times, not so much, and this is one of those times, of course, it's all in the eye of the beholder. I have no interest in any of this stuff, so let's move on. Here is the tools and utilities section, a section I never frequent. Look at the size of this flashlight. Holy heck, it's a huge flashlight. Wow, it's a pretty big flashlight there. Very interesting. That's pretty much what this... Look at the size of this dumbbell. It's a flashlight-sized dumbbell and a dumbbell-sized flashlight, so that's... very interesting. Let's move on to the electronics section, a section that's always worth a look. There's an old fax machine there. You can sometimes find some pretty cool vintage electronics here, but they hardly ever work, so, whatever. There's a printer there. Oh, what's this? Nice little radio. Multiband radio. It looks pretty old school. $5. Well, let's see if it works. They do have a testing station, so let's crank this bad boy up. Let me turn down the background music, the soothing background music here. Let's see if this thing works. Where's the switch? There it is. Let's see. Click a Rooney. Let's see the volume. Okay, so definitely getting a signal, or at least just air. So tuning. yeah, it doesn't really seem to be receiving anything, so might be a problem with the antenna. I just don't think this thing works. It gets power but doesn't work, so let's just put it back. Yeah, well, that's a shame. I'm always on the lookout for cool old radios. What's this thing? What is this thing? This thing looks like an absolute relic. It's got a timer counter there. What is it? A memo scriber. What is a memo scriber? What on earth is this thing? Excuse me. Yeah, I have no idea what this is. Oh, pardon me, I almost dropped that. My goodness. Yeah, I have no idea what this is. If you know what a memo scriber is, let me know in the comments below. Well, I guess I'm going to make my way to the exit here. Not too much of a impressive excursion. Oh, that's a pretty interesting little classroom doll thing. That's pretty interesting. A little chalkboard there. Yeah, nothing very interesting here, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Obviously, they haven't got a shipment in. They might have been ransacked over the weekend, and they were lacking in merchandise, and that does happen a lot. It all depends on what time and what day you come to these places. Each store is different. But yeah, not a very impressive excursion today, but still pretty interesting. Interesting enough, I should say. And though I do typically check out the book section, but I already did off camera, and there really is nothing noteworthy unless you want me to talk about the 36 copies of 50 Shades of Grey they have, which is a pretty typical find in the book section. But yeah, nothing too impressive in the book section. So I'm gonna put a bow on this bad boy, and I'm gonna get out of here. So yeah. Well, I gotta tell you, that was probably one of the worst visits I've had there in a long time. I mean, I've had worse, but I just haven't filmed them. Not a lot going on there today, but that does happen sometimes, and I must have caught them when they haven't restocked yet, because they typically have some cool stuff in there. Now, I was very surprised to find the VHS I did. It wasn't many, and of course, there was the Howard the Duck that was very moldy, so I didn't get that one, but I did get the Bob Ross, and I got the Nintendo Tips, whatever. So that was very interesting to find VHS there for once in a long time. So that's great. Well, I certainly appreciate you watching, and be sure to keep it locked right here. We'll see you next time. Bye.